Hello, BookTube, and welcome back to BookTrek 2021, a BookTube event, a voyage of discovery that I'm on with a bunch of other BookTubers where we're reading Star Trek fiction for the rest of the year. We're doing it iteration by iteration, not in terms of internal chronology in the show, but rather in terms of original air date. So we started with the original series, and that was in August. Then we did The Next Generation. Then we did Star Trek Deep Space Nine. And for all of November, we're doing Star Trek Voyager, in which the USS Voyager is flung by alien technology from the Alpha Quadrant to the Delta Quadrant, 80,000 light years away. A death sentence for most of their crew to never see home again unless they find another miraculous means of crossing distance, because even at maximum warp in a straight line with no trouble, which of course won't happen, they would need 80 years to get back home. So Voyager in the TV show becomes a story about not only the adventures that Voyager's crew has, but also that overlying story of, can they get back home? Will they get back home? Will the next adventure maybe be something that either scuttles their chances completely or maybe gives them a chance that they didn't see coming? And it made for, in my opinion, gripping Star Trek TV. I absolutely loved Voyager. Thought it was fantastic. One of the most intriguing things about it, I thought, was the long roots of relationships between various combinations of characters. I thought that the Voyager was extremely blessed with its actors. The cast is fantastic. Almost universally fantastic. And usually the showrunners on Voyager had the sense to follow through on some of their best ideas, which made it great watching. And it's been largely great reading as well, but I haven't made a Voyager video in a week, and there's been a reason for that, because most of the Voyager stuff that I've been reading has been the stuff that Pocket Books and Paramount authorized writers to do continuing the series 10 years later. So it's not adventures that are happening while Voyager is still trapped in the Delta Quadrant. It's instead extra canonical stuff. It's stuff. I mean, every Star Trek novel is technically extra canonical, but at least it's taking place inside of the events conscripted by canon. But these extended universe novels, if you want to call it that, aren't that at all. Instead, it's a writer, usually one writer with a mastermind for several books. That's been my case with Voyager. Just sort of telling an ongoing story, just sort of making up what happens to all of these familiar characters years later, years after. Voyager is one of the Star Trek shows that had a very self-conscious, very knowing, scripted ending to its story. Same with Deep Space Nine. Not true with the original show, not true with Star Trek Enterprise, but definitely true with Voyager. There was an ending to the story. The characters might go on, but the story of the whole plot, that overarching plot in Voyager, has an ending in the final episode. And I don't know, I've read these extended universe novels with Deep Space Nine and with Voyager, and I have the same reaction to both of them. They just seem so pointless to me, so unsatisfying on a very basic level. It's not the same thing as with a show that does not have a prescribed ending. When a show has a prescribed ending, I feel like, okay, that's the story of this ship or crew or continuity that I wanted to see. That's the story that Star Trek, the broader Gene Roddenberry universe, wanted to present to me. And it had a beginning, and it had a middle, and it had an ending. So why would I want to read a novel about what some writer thinks B'Elanna Torres is doing 10 years after Voyager makes it back to the Alpha Quadrant? Why would I want to read that? Much less 10 novels like that, all written by the same author, all playing off the previous novels. It's the same problem. That's why I'm using the ironic phrase extended universe, because it's the same problem I had with Star Wars books of that kind, is that they seem to be increasingly narrow fan service. And I've made the mistake of doing that for Voyager, for November. November doesn't have all that long left. I'm not sure how many BookTrek videos I'll be making during Thanksgiving week, since, as you can see, I'm not at Hyde Cottage, and I'm having a blast. So I don't know how much I'll be doing. I still have lots and lots of Voyager novels that I brought with me on my tablet, so it's possible that I will just go back to in-continuity novels and see if maybe they please me a little more, they probably will. I just want to give you an update because a lot of you have been emailing me asking, have you stopped doing BookTrek? Not in a million years. I'm honored to be part of BookTrek. It's just, I hit one road bump, which is those extended universe novels just aren't doing anything for me. I tried one, then I tried another, then I tried a third, then I tried a fourth, and never had anything to report and didn't want to. It isn't the same thing as the fallow period I hit with Deep Space Nine novels because the novels were technically enjoyable. They just didn't do anything for me because they were set in the wrong time. The writer for a lot of them, Kristen Breyer, I think was her name, if she had been given the brief to write in continuity Voyager stories, I think I would have enjoyed them a lot more. So it's not a case of where I hit the doldrums with Deep Space Nine. It's not a case of that at all. So I'll find something to talk about with Voyager in the meantime. I just wanted to give you a check-in for those of you who are asking. So I'm going to wrap this up for now, but we'll keep talking about Voyager for the rest of November. Thank you, BookTube.